Bonjour and welcome to 50 States, 50 Dishes. This week, to celebrate Mardi Gras, we're actually going to be making two dishes from the Pelican State of Louisiana. For our entree, we're going to be making a staple of Creole dining, jambalaya, which is a little bit like Spanish paella with some French Creole influences with shrimp and sausage. And for dessert, we're going to be making actually a recipe for bananas Foster, a dessert that was invented at Brenna's restaurant in New Orleans itself. So I'm excited to make these two dishes. Let's go ahead and get started. Here are all the ingredients you're going to need for both the jambalaya and the bananas Foster. It's a lot of ingredients, but it's not very complicated, so don't worry too much. The first thing you're going to want to do for your jambalaya is actually to chop up that bell pepper. Get yourself about a cup of chopped green bell pepper, and you're going to want to combine that with your cup of chopped onion and your cup of chopped celery. This is some nice prep work because you're going to be adding them all together into the pot a little later on, and so it's good to kind of have them just set aside. Save yourself a little bit of work. So after you've got those chopped up and set aside, you're going to want to start doing your sausage here. The recipe calls for a ½ pound of smoked sausage. I think I ended up using about 3/4 of a pound, and that's actually one of the really great things about stew or a jambalaya is that you can kind of just throw whatever you want in there as long as you get it good and cooked. You can actually modify this recipe to utilize chicken if you'd like, but I stuck to the shrimp and sausage. You're going to be cooking everything in a large pot, as you can see up in the corner there, and you're going to be putting in a tablespoon of olive oil to get that started, and that's going to be what starts out your pot here. So get that going, let it cook up. I had a little bit of time, so I chopped up just a little bit more sausage to get that all ready, because I'm going to be putting that in first onto that olive oil. So get that mixed and covering the bottom. Get your sausage and go ahead and add that in. Now you don't want it to just stay in there, it'll stick to the sides and it'll burn. So get yourself a spoon and start mixing that around to keep it from burning and attaching to the sides. After that, you're going to want to add in those vegetables we talked about earlier and give those about 6 to 8 minutes to start releasing their juices. That'll keep everything a nice even consistency of wet. Go ahead and add in that 1 cup of uncooked rice after about 6 to 8 minutes of cooking the vegetables and sausage together. Be sure that it's uncooked rice. If you add cooked rice, it's just going to break down as it goes on. It's going to give you kind of a gross mismatch. This is where things get a little weird because I actually did some stuff out of order here. So get your tablespoon of minced garlic. Not that it's super important. It's all going in the pot together. Get that little bit of Cajun seasoning we made earlier in the week, and you're going to add that directly into the pot. And then we get our cans. My can of chicken broth here, which evens out to be about 2 cups of chicken broth. That goes straight in the pot. Keep everything nice and wet. Your salt to taste. I started with a 1/4 teaspoon of salt. And then went ahead and added in the diced tomatoes. Be sure you don't drain those. You want diced tomatoes in juice here to keep everything nice and wet. You're going to get the 1/4 teaspoon of ground thyme is what I used for this. And then you're going to have 3 bay leaves that you add to the mix. Get it heated up and then put it to a low to medium simmer and let that cook for about 11 minutes. I used this time to detail my shrimp that I had. They were already deveined. Take the top off and throw that shrimp in there as it's already cooking good and spicy, and let that cook open. Don't cover it for about 10 to 15 minutes or until the shrimp are pink in the middle. So with my shrimp, my sausage, my rice and everything, I've got my jambalaya. I got my little bit of whiskey. And I have some cornbread here as well. That was just kind of a bonus, so I had a side. And so for the state of Louisiana, we're going to try ourselves some jambalaya. If you let it cook for a little too long, your rice is going to start breaking down, and so it's going to make it a little bit thicker than you may be initially intending with jambalaya. But if you follow the recipe right, you're going to have yourself some good spiciness. It's got a nice burn at the end of it. And that'll be our jambalaya. Stay tuned because we're going to make bananas Fosters, and you'll get to see yourself a nice Louisiana dessert. But other than that, I'm going to finish this up, and I'll see you in a little bit. So our guest cook Ben here is going to slice up our bananas. You're going to peel them and then cut them lengthwise and then crosswise. Then he's going to crush up a 1/4 cup of coarsely crushed walnuts, which is difficult to say quickly. I combined the rest of the ingredients, unfortunately, off camera. Again, we had another technical difficulty there. So we started melting our butter in our cast iron pan up in the corner there. And then we add in the sugar, the rum, the cinnamon, all the rest of the ingredients go on top of the butter. And you want that cooking till it's bubbling. Once it's bubbling, throw on top your walnuts and then add in your bananas. You cook them only maybe 2, maybe 3 minutes, just long enough to get them coated and soft. And then you serve it over vanilla ice cream while still hot. It makes a wonderful dish. So, for our dessert today, we made bananas foster, which I've never made. And I'm not even 100% how it's supposed to be served, but as you can see, it's starting to melt. So I'm gonna get myself some bananas, some ice cream, and I guess some Foster. And give that a shot. It tastes like bananas and ice cream with some sugar and rum on it, which is basically exactly what it is. So check that out. It's actually a really, really quick dessert, though a little dangerous because you have to basically fry sugar. But beyond that, I'm going to finish this off with my friends, then we're going to head back into the video, into the room, excuse me, and we'll talk about what we're doing next week. So that was our first 2-dish special for the state of Louisiana for Mardi Gras with Jambalaya and Bananas Foster. I thought they were pretty good recipes. I enjoyed them and I look forward to making them again in my own free time. But if you want to tune in next week to 50 States, 50 Dishes, we're going to go back west to Colorado, to colorful Colorado, and we may even be breaking out the grill to make some burgers, but we're going to see how that works out. So tune in next week to 50 States, 50 Dishes when we go to Colorado, but stay tuned now for our trivia question of the week.